Good morning, Read 180 students. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020, and we're going to be working on Lesson 17 in our Workshop 3, Life in Dystopia. Today's learning target is we're going to be comparing and contrasting the way two dystopian stories use similar themes and topics. And the two stories that we're going to be looking at specifically will be The Lottery and The Hunger Games. So as we're working on these next two pages, you're going to probably have to go back into the story of either The Lottery or The Hunger Games or both in order to do the assignment of completing a Venn diagram and also a chart as we're going to be analyzing this genre of dystopian literature. Okay, so if you look at the top of page 162, you'll see that we're going to be analyzing genre. And we're going to analyze similarities and differences between those literary elements of plot, setting and time, characters and theme between The Lottery and The Hunger Games. And this is also going to give us a better understanding of this genre using dystopia literature. So a genre is a category of literature such as mysteries or adventure stories. The Lottery and The Hunger Games are both examples of genre called dystopian literature. Thinking about ideas common to both stories can give you a better understanding of dystopian literature. Now you'll see that we're going to be using a Venn diagram to show comparison and contrast, which means we're going to be looking for similarities for both stories, but we're also going to look at how they were different, how they can use the same literary elements, but use it a little differently so the stories are different. Okay, so again, these stories, we're going to find information that's the same and then also what was different. So if we look at this Venn diagram, we're going to know that both stories describe a lottery used to determine people's fates. We write this shared idea where the circles overlap. So if you look on page 162, where it says both, the topic or the plot is done for you. It's the lottery determines people's fates. Now we also know that the lotteries were different. So using that same topic/plot section, we know that in The Lottery the winner's killed. Remember, the character is stoned to death after she finds out she's the winner of that lottery of her village. We list this in the lottery section, and you'll see citizens are chosen by lottery to be stoned by the villagers. The winner, now you'll notice it in air quotes, is probably killed. In The Hunger Games, the winner is the only one who lives. So we list this in the Hunger Games section. And again, you'll see where it says topic/plot. Tributes chosen by the lottery for the Hunger Games, we know that the winner lives. So we know that the similar piece is both stories held a lottery. But we know that they're different because the outcomes were different. In The Lottery, the winner was probably killed. In The Hunger Games, the winner gets to live. Now you'll notice the next section, you're going to complete the rest of the Venn diagram. So you're going to put in what was similar of the setting and time. Put that in your middle section. Now that one's a little bit harder, so I'm going to help you with that. What's the same about them is that the year is unknown. So go ahead and fill that into your Venn diagram. Now you should be able to go back into both stories to find the setting and time and the characters. Now when you get to the theme, also I'm going to help you where both the theme, where they're both the same, is they talk about tradition. And we know tradition means something that is carried on, shared generation over generation, and conformity, which means things that everybody does the same, even if you don't really agree with it. So again, in that middle section where it says both, I'd like you to fill in the theme where it says tradition/conformity. Now you're going to have to pause this to complete the Venn diagram on page 162. And just remember that when you put in the information, make sure that you're recording the information from the lottery in the correct section on the left-hand side and the information from the Hunger Games on the right-hand side. Now I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Now we determined, so again, we're going to look at analyzing genre. So if you look at the top of page 163, we have 3 columns that we're going to complete. The first one is done for us for the most part, except for one little section. But if you notice that the text element of the topic or the plot, we know that the lottery determines people's fates, or we know that the lottery is used to make decisions about what's going to happen to people. Now remember, we know that Tessie's fate is sealed by the lottery, remember? And then the quote is, "It's Tessie, show us her paper, Bill." So that's our indicator that Tessie was the winner of this lottery. Now you're going to find the evidence in the Hunger Games in that excerpt a few pages back that the lottery controls Prim's fate. So go ahead and fill that in. And then what does the evidence suggest about dystopian literature? If you see that we determine that in both the lottery and in the Hunger Games that lottery is being used to make decisions what happens to people. Now remember, we also were able to find out from the evidence that in a dystopia, the power of controlling authority is more important than an individual. So characters in the dystopian literature lack control. So in that section, you see that I've written characters don't have control over their own lives or what happens to them in the chart. This statement is a theme we can expect to find in dystopian literature. So again, that common, or that what the evidence says is, first of all, it's a lottery. It's by chance. You don't really know till the end of the lottery who the winner is. And then we also know that that lottery controls the lives of those people, like they did in the lottery. It controlled the life of, or the outcome for Tessie. And then you will find what was the outcome or that evidence of who got picked in the Hunger Games. Okay. Now you're going to again pause this recording, and you're going to go back to the setting. And again, what's the text element? Well, we know that in setting, the year isn't known. We might know the time of day, but we don't really know what year that happened. So you can go ahead and fill that piece in. And again, you can go back into both stories to complete the evidence. And then I want you to come up with what was your idea about the evidence. What does it suggest about that dystopian literature? Just thinking about setting in that section. Now I'm going to help you with the next two a little bit for the theme. The first theme is tradition. And remember, tradition means the transmission of customs or beliefs from generation to generation. Theme 2 is going to be conformity. People that do the same things that other people are doing. So when you're finishing section 3, theme 1, and the theme is tradition, what was the evidence that supports that for both the lottery and the Hunger Games? And then what did we really learn about that? What did that evidence say and tell us about that dystopian literature? And theme 2 of conformity. Knowing what conformity means, go back and find evidence for both stories. And again, what did that tell you? Now, in that last section, I'm really just trying to find out what you come up with. There's several answers that we could be looking at. My answer is not the only right one, so that's why I want you to fill it in. As long as you show evidence and you stake a claim, you will do fine on this section of this page, on page 163. Okay, that is it for the lesson for today. Again, once you have completed pages 162 and 163, I'm going to have you submit that in Google Classroom. And like I said earlier, this will be the last assignment that you will see for your Real Book for Workshop 3. Now, just a reminder, too, that if you have fallen behind a little bit or you're missing work, you do need to get this submitted by May 28th. That's going to be the last day that teachers are taking late work. Remember, Friday the 22nd is the last day that we will assign a lesson for grade. We have something else planned for the following week, which is going to be posted in our lesson plans. But if you are missing some work, do not worry about that. You will be able to get it in as long as you submit it by May 28th, as we have to have grades due shortly after that. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email. You can try calling me at my desk, but probably email is going to be a faster way to get a hold of me. All right, thanks for working hard on this workshop. I'll let you get to work, and we'll talk tomorrow.